welcome to Steve McDonald's Arts and Crafts, and today what I'm going to do is I'm going to do an experiment to see if you can use Plaster of Paris in resin, and if you can, what difference does it make? Now, I have no idea whether this is going to work or not. It may cause the resin not to cure, it may cause the resin to heat up, it may cause the resin to explode. No, it's not going to make it explode. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it in my coasters as I normally do it, because this is a good test, because I can get it nice and thick and I can get plenty going. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of my future videos. I always release videos on a Tuesday, a Thursday and a Sunday. And there you'll see my experiments and the projects and all my helpful hints and tips. So I've got my resin mixed up. I've got exactly the same amount in each one, and it's all the same batch as well. So this is just the resin and the colour. So I'll pop the colour next to that. And I'm going to put 1, 2, 3, 4 drops in. This is going to be the resin and just the Plaster of Paris. And this is going to be the resin with the colour. So that will need 1, 2, 3, 4 drops in there, because I want it to have the same amount of colour in each one. So I'm going to put another 3 drops in. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. That's the resin and the colour. So we can just pour that one now. There we go. Let's get that mix in. I will pop the bubbles that come up there from this using a long-necked lighter, because I don't want to damage the mould. So that's just resin and colour. Just move that out of the way. And I'll make sure I use the same amount of... because Plaster of Paris does generally cure up quite thick, quite quickly. Just make sure it's well mixed in. I don't want any dry bits left in there or anything. And I'm going to give that a few minutes as well, because I want to try and see if the bubbles will drop off the top of that. It's got to go into that one. Pour the resin and the colour in. I will put the links to everything that I've used in the description below. Don't forget to check out my join button as well. There's a lot of perks for members. The membership is growing nicely now. Here's the names of all the members coming up now. Thank you very much to them all. And if you fancy buying me a coffee, just to say thank you for all the experiments and bits and pieces that I do, please, the link is in the description below where the join button is. Every bit's really appreciated. I'm saving up for a pressure pot now as well, so I can see if it's worth money for the hobbyist and then show people how to do it. I think they've now had long enough to release any bubbles. I'm not sure that that is looking any different colour with the white in it or not, but we will find out once it's cured. It hasn't cured up really quickly, and it hasn't got overly warm, which is great. Maybe it does look a little bit more white. Perhaps I should have used some opaque colour in it as opposed to some translucent colour, but we will see how it comes out. These have all cured now, and so I'm going to have a look. Now, from what I can see, the actual colour hasn't really made any difference to the Plaster of Paris, but let's have a look. These have come out really well. This is the one that had just the transparent white in it, and as you'd expect, it's just given the actual resin just a bit of transparency, but it will give me an example of the differences between them. This is the one that had just the Plaster of Paris in, and this is the one that had the transparent pigment in, and I really can't see much of a difference between them. So I did go ahead and try it with some white pigment, and you can definitely see the difference in that, and I really quite like that. I didn't quite mix the opaque white pigment up enough, and that's why you've got those little streaks in it. So what I then went on and did was I then used that method, but with a little bit more of the actual white pigment in, and cast this bust using my bust mold, and I love it. I think it's come out really, really well. It's given me the effect that I was looking for. I also chucked in, to give it a little bit of contrast, a little bit of sand. Not much, as you can see. I just wanted it to give that, like, effect that it wasn't a perfect piece of stone. And some of it has settled in a little bit there. But I think that effect gives it a really great look as well. And maybe going forward, I would allow the resin to thick up quite a little bit more and put a bit more sand in it, mix it up so you had speckles going all the way through it. But overall, I think this has been a great experiment, and it's one I will definitely be using in the future for casting something like this to give it a more of a... It's got a sheen on it, definitely, which you would expect from a shiny mould. But with the Plaster of Paris, I genuinely think it has given a really great effect. Let me know in the comments what you think. I'd be really interested to find out what you think and how you feel this went and whether you'd use this. Plaster of Paris is so cheap. I am going to attach this to this black base, and I think it does give a really nice contrast and shows off that resin bust really, really well. And I'll just use 5-minute epoxy to do that, to attach this to that. Don't forget, hit that subscribe button. Check out the video that's coming up next. I think you'll like this experiment. Enjoy your resin. Bye.